Good morning and hello to everybody who is come to listen to the podcast, The Pocket Stylist. Today we are in episode 92, which is unbelievable. So I'm hurtling my way to the 100th episode. But today I'm really lucky. It's not just me today. I am being joined by Hayley of the wonderful brand 11 Loves. And she's going to come and tell you a little bit about the brand, how it started, and we're going to just generally have a great chit chat about this wonderful, easy, no fuss clothing brand that this wonderful lady has created and set up. So first of all, I'm going to say hello to you, Hayley. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for inviting me on.
No, thank you so much for coming. And you know what? You and I came into contact with each other. Actually, do you know that's 5 years ago, which is quite scary, isn't it? How quick time is going. But introduce yourself to the listeners and just tell everybody a little bit about you and really where I suppose the idea came up in all those years ago and what you originally set the brand up about. And then we can just carry on from there.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I'm Hayley Thomas. I'm the founder of 11 Loves. I set the brand up. Actually, it was originally called Love, Sweat and Teas back in 2017. And I set it up for a number of reasons, really. So I'd always wanted to run my own business. My background was fashion. And I kind of got to the stage in life where I thought, actually, I've had so many different business ideas and I just need to take the plunge and do something and start small and try something out. I'd written so many kind of business plans for various things and never actually kind of taken the next stage and kind of got them off paper. So actually my husband got ill. He was 40 and he got ill in 2017. So he was diagnosed with bowel cancer. He's absolutely fine now. But it was a bit of a shock to us all. And it was actually, in a way, while it was a horrible year and he was going through treatment and it was a big shock. Actually, it was a good kick up the bum for all of us because it made both him and me sort of do things that we'd sort of, had on our bucket list for a little while.
Yeah.
And never actually got around to. So I thought, I'm just going to, while he's going through all of this, I'm going to just start. I just need to start these things. There's no guarantee that any of us have got, time. So
Yeah.
just, I think we need to kind of crack on. So I started out with sweatshirts and t-shirts. And my sort of thinking really behind the brand was I had this t-shirt. I had 2 young children at the time. I had this t-shirt that I wore kind of on repeat. It was a Topshop. I think it was a Kate Moss t-shirt, like a sort of Topshop Kate Moss collab t-shirt. And it was one of those things that kind of I could throw on and it made me feel, even though it was comfortable and I could still run around with the kids and go to the park with them, it still made me feel stylish and special. And like I'd kind of got a bit of a sort of fashion opinion, a bit of fashion personality.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was kind of one of those favorite, much loved pieces. It wasn't at all expensive, but I've still got it now. It's still one of my favorites. And I really felt like there weren't enough pieces like that around that were kind of easy throw on. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about what you're going to wear it with. But actually, when you put them on, you feel special and you feel like you've kind of, you've got some personality and made an effort. And so I wanted to kind of for it to have that feel, for it to have that effect on people. And I sort of really just started from there. I started with, I think, about 2 sweatshirts and a couple of t-shirts. And I set my website up really quickly. And I went to an event that a friend was running with a few other small brands just to sort of test out and get people's feedback and talk to customers and understand what they liked and what they didn't like and what they'd like to see. And it really just started from there.
Isn't it interesting how many, if we could go back in like a few of your sentences, the word feel you used came up numerous times and it's such an amazing word because listen, as a stylist, my kind of mantra is whatever you wear, it has to make you feel good, because we know very much like you said about your Topshop t-shirt, you've got the memories even now of that t-shirt that makes you feel good. It made you feel stylish, whether you were at the park or probably a play center, or helping your husband while he was going through treatment. That one t-shirt made you feel good. And that's why I think a lot of ladies have you know, they wear that 5% in their wardrobe every single day, because that is the item that makes them feel much better than the other 95%. So it's really interesting how you started your journey with that whole feel. It's got to feel nice. So sorry, carry on.
No, I completely agree with you, actually. It's a really interesting point, because I think, and even now when I sort of design pieces, you know, it always needs to feel comfortable. I never want anyone to feel like they're, you know, anything's wearing them, or they're not themselves, or they can't run around after, you know, kids or grandkids or whatever. You know, it's sort of, I think clothes are for kind of wearing. You never want to feel
Don't keep them for best.
No, exactly. So that's still the kind of ethos behind it, and it is about, you know, whether or not, you know, it doesn't really matter what other people think of you, does it? It's kind of how you feel in what you're wearing.
And it gives you confidence. You know, what you wear, if you feel good, gives you that confidence. And I think every woman deserves to look in that mirror or catch themselves in the shop window and go, do you know what? I look pretty good. Because again, it's the feel good, it's the confidence, and using brands that like yours that have that wonderful feel to them from a fabric point of view, and again the stylish look, it gives everybody that opportunity. So when did you decide to kind of expand your range? Because obviously you started, like you said, with the sweats and the tees. Then did you kind of think, do you know what, I'm just gonna go a little bit wider now, I'm gonna add to my collection?
Yeah, so I noticed, and again, we're very much led by our customers, and I love talking to my customers all the time. And I was finding that lots of customers were asking if we did knitwear. Lots of customers were obviously wearing our sweatshirts and t-shirts with denim. Loads of them were wearing them with tulle skirts and trainers. And I was sort of spending quite a lot of time kind of styling my own things in that way as well. And then I sort of thought, well, actually, you know, we could quite easily well, not easily, because it's always a massive piece of work, but you know, in my head, everything
in your head,
in my head until I have to do it. But you know, it's a natural progression for us to expand into other categories that complement our sweatshirts and t-shirts. So the first categories that we expanded into were knitwear and denim. Knitwear because it felt like, you know, it's still every day. You know, we wanted to make it sustainable. We felt like there was a big need for sustainable knitwear. So we created some beautiful kind of recycled cashmere blend knitwear, and then some sustainable denim as well. So some organic cotton and sustainable sustainably sourced cotton pieces that would kind of work with our sweatshirts and t-shirts. And I think as we expand, the important thing for us is that everything kind of fits together, and everything is versatile, and you can kind of mix and match and wear lots of our pieces with our other pieces and in lots of different ways. So we've tried to kind of expand the range quite thoughtfully and not too quickly. So that, you know, we know that anything that we're bringing into the range will work with, you know, at least kind of 5 other pieces. And there's, you know, there's lots of different ways you can wear them, because we're all about, you know, getting, you know, value for money. Yes, investing in the right pieces. So investing in pieces that will last, that are really good quality, that are sustainable and are ethically made. But pieces that you can wear and repeat, that, you know, I quite like to think of our pieces as pieces that never end up going back in the wardrobe. They're the pieces that sit on the chair because you kind of keep putting them on and wearing them in different ways. So
and actually, by doing that, the ladies have a wardrobe that works for them, because, you know, lots of ladies that I see, they lack so much time because they're either mums and they're working, or, you know, they're business leaders and they just want to look super stylish and lovely on a weekend, or they want something that they're going on holiday with or that they can travel with. But then they think, well, hang on a minute, you know, I want it to work with the rest of my wardrobe. And by having pieces that work together, it just takes away the hassle. It takes away sometimes the thought pattern that some of us do not have in the morning. And also it gives back time, rather than thinking in the morning, now what shall I wear with? If it all
No,
kind of
exactly.
complements each other and it works so well together, it just saves so much time. And I think sometimes us as women, we just want to regain a little bit of that time in our day, whether or not it's so you can go to the loo quickly without thinking, I've just got to go to the loo, then I've got to go and do this. And it's, isn't it? It's all about then. And clothes, I think, are so empowering because they give you, we go back to that word feel, they give you that amazing feeling. And I love the fact that, you know, people can buy from you different pieces, but they all complement each other.
Yeah, we try not to have any pieces in the range that you kind of that sort of stand there on their own.
Yeah.
You know, even when it's a dress, for example, it should be a dress that you can throw on under a shirt. You know, we've got dresses coming out that you can wear with a denim shirt, that you can wear with a jacket that we've got coming, you know, that you can throw on under a sweatshirt that will still work really nicely as skirts. So yeah, I think that's really important. And it is, like you say, there's so many things going in, you know, the average person's mind at any one time. You don't also want, what am I going to wear tomorrow? You know, or, you know, how am I going to wear this piece with this piece? So
no, absolutely. So you started off as, like we said, Love, Sweat and Teas, but now you're 11 Loves. So when did you decide to kind of make that switch? And was there a reasoning behind it, Hayley?
Yeah, so it was early 2022, and I had been thinking, so as I'd been expanding the range, I had started to think, actually, Love, Sweat and Teas, you know, obviously talks about sweatshirts and t-shirts, but it doesn't necessarily now fit with where we're going, and with the fact that the range has kind of expanded beyond that. And I had been thinking about it for a little while, actually. And then I just decided, actually, if I'm going to do it, I knew I'd got lots more things coming in. And I was going to do a big kind of PR push and a marketing push. And I thought, actually, if I'm going to change it, I need to change it now. So I think the lovely thing about being a small business is, you know, if I was doing that in a big business, it would be a year-long rebranding exercise and you'd have to kind of write lots of papers on it. I think I literally decided on a Sunday morning. I'd sort of decided on the Friday that I was going to do it. I was on a walk with my husband. I was like, right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to change the name and rebrand. And then on a Sunday morning, I was kind of cooking pancakes, which is our sort of Sunday morning tradition. We have pancakes. At the same time, I was sort of researching different brand names and looking at what domains taken. And then we'd changed by the following Wednesday. I'd changed everything. I'd got a new logo. I'd got a new website, a new domain name, and all of that. So it was nice. It was nice and quick.
But I'm listening to you, and I'm kind of giggling and smiling because I'm very like you, and I think you're so right. As a small business owner, you know, one of the most exciting things is we can do what we want when we want. We don't actually have to answer to anybody else. Yes, you know, it comes into the whole business strategy and branding and things like that. But the reason I was giggling is because I was on this Saturday, would you believe, I suddenly thought I want a different podcast cover. And I thought, I don't like the other one anymore. And it was just like that. And I was like, I'm going to do another cover. But you know, I am not the branding genius. I am a stylist. And my husband and my son said, Mum, just learn, just try. And I thought, oh, no, really? Anyway, I did. Right. Then I sent it to my wonderful lady that does all my branding, Steph Honey. And I said to her, what do you think of this? And she went, yes, it's nice. And within seconds, she'd like fired me back 4 ideas. No, Lisa, this is much better. But exactly like you. So Saturday, I thought I need a podcast recover because I just don't like the other one. And by today, which is Monday, it's uploaded on the website. It's all on Apple. It's ready and rocking to go. So where did your brand name 11 Loves come? Where did it come from?
So I wanted to retain the loves. I wanted to retain something of Love, Sweat and Teas. I didn't want, you know, I wanted people to still be able to recognize us because we did have a really lovely kind of sort of Instagram following already, and we had lots of customers. And I didn't want to kind of change and people not to be able to recognize us. And it's still a brand that's kind of based on kind of love and respect for our customers and our you know, our makers. So I was trying to retain that. And then in terms of the 11, so we sold our very first piece on the 11th of November back in 2017. So as the story goes, that's the kind of significance of that number. So that, and it just felt quite nice. They sort of, you know, with all of these brand names, you sort of have to try lots of different things, and you know, it just needs to sound right. And that kind of felt like it sounded right. And we've yeah, so it kind of represents that very first sort of momentous occasion for our business when we made our very first sale.
But there's your story. There's your wonderful story that, you know, to listen to you can, you know, for ladies that are listening on the podcast, you can hear it in your tone and in your voice, how much you love your brand. But for the ladies that are watching on YouTube, they can see your face, which is, you know, it's wonderful. And when you're listening to you, the brand is the loves, and you've said it a couple of times about the love you have for your customers, and you want to do right by them. And, you know, then the 11 comes in because it has a significant, and I love it how there's always a brand story behind somebody. And chatting to you, it's wonderful because now so many more people know more about your story. So am I allowed to ask you, what have you got coming up then? Because you were saying just now, I heard you drop in the shacket, and you've got some dresses. So I'm sure for ladies that love your brand, they would be thinking, I wonder what else she's got up her sleeve. Have you got things planned for release throughout 2023?
Yes, I have. So I'm terrible at keeping secrets. If you've ever seen me on my live, so I do a live every week on Instagram at 12 o'clock. And I'm like, I know some brands do the big reveal. I really don't. I do like, here's an early version of it. What do you think? Do you think it should be longer or shorter, or, you know? And actually that's really important to me, to get customers' feedback, because I don't want to create something that's not quite right for people. I want to have kind of gone through all of those little tweaks with our customers. And I feel like I talk to customers all the time. So I do, you know, I do have a really strong sense as to what our customers will like and what they want. But there's nothing better than talking directly to customers, and it's one of my favorite parts of the week, of those lives where I, you know, I talk through what's launching, but then I also show people what's coming up. So the bits that are coming up for March, we've got a nice strong denim package that's kind of evolving. So we've got some barrel leg jeans. So we've done 2 pairs of jeans so far, which are both straight leg, which have worked really nicely. I think for those customers who love a skinny but don't want to kind of be stuck to a skinny, want to kind of sort of break away from the skinny. So the straight leg jeans have worked really well. And now in March we're launching some barrel leg jeans. So really nice washed black barrel leg jeans, and then we're launching a sort of lighter blue denim wash later in the year. We've got a khaki shacket coming, which is a really sort of easy piece that you can dress up. So we've just done a photo shoot last week, and we styled it with one of the tulle skirts, so as a kind of dressed up, dressed down look, but then really easy to sort of throw over jeans and t-shirts, that sort of thing. We've got our first blazer coming out, because again, I a lot of my slogan pieces with blazers, and I noticed lots of our customers do as well. So we've got a nice sort of relaxed blazer. I didn't want it to feel at all like a work blazer. I wanted to feel like a kind of, you know, a sort of more contemporary relaxed blazer. So that's launching.
The blazers are so interesting, aren't they? Because the blazer is the easiest garment. I think it's a bit like an unsung hero, a bit like the dress. The blazer just gives any outfit that elevation, whether it's a t-shirt and jeans, whether it's a lovely formal structured pair of trousers or a jogger. The blazer, it's really come around from being that, like you said, that formal workwear, because now there's so many different fabrics around. And I think a blazer is very much in theory like a cardigan, because if you get that lovely kind of comfortable fabric, you can move in it, and you can, but you still get that lovely structured look because of the lapels. So that's super exciting. What colors have you got coming up of that? Are you allowed to say?
I'm starting with navy, because I wanted something that it's really important to us, for things, as much of our collection, to be kind of seasonless as possible. And for me, navy felt like the colour that you can most easily wear across the seasons. So I think it will work with all of our sort of paler colours for spring, and then again you can kind of carry it through into autumn, winter. So we're starting with navy, but I really want a charcoal, and I would really like an off-white as well. So I'm hoping it goes well, because then we can sort of bring out those other colours as well.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because looking at what you and I are both wearing, you've got this lovely orange, beautiful knit.
Bright today, yeah.
Yeah, you're bright, and I've gone for a cream. And thinking about the navy blazer, you or I could wear that today, because that's the versatility of it. And I think that goes back right to what we started the conversation about. It's ladies having a wardrobe that works for them. It doesn't work against them. It means that, like exactly like you said, they can pull out the navy blazer, whether they're wearing an animal print dress or whether they're wearing a cerise pink roll neck, for example, and or tailoring or anything like that. It works so well. So any more goodies coming up?
So our tulle skirts have been really popular.
They're lovely.
Oh, thank you. So we've got a grey coming out in the tulle skirt. We've got some lovely cheesecloth dresses, so sort of moving into sort of more holiday wardrobes and kind of sort of late spring, early summer. We've got some nice sort of easy maxi dresses. Got a jumpsuit, a cheesecloth jumpsuit coming. What else have we got? Got some nice cargos. I feel like cargos
they're huge this season.
Yeah. So I've not put pockets on the side of mine. I don't know what you think from your kind of stylist perspective. Pockets or non-pockets?
I think it's interesting because it depends on the person's lower body shape. You know, if a lady is more, curved on the lower body, then putting pockets in the wrong places will just enhance that area. But again, you can put them lower down the leg where the leg narrows. And I think that's, I'm a massive, I love jeans. I love them. But I also like the fact that ladies can wear something that is not jeans. Otherwise, they gravitate to jeans all the time. Whereas actually, something like a cargo with a white t-shirt or a striped t-shirt, whatever you want to do with it, and add in a blazer, that's stunning. But it's different and it's interesting. So yeah, I would always say to ladies, just be careful where those pockets sit. And actually, you can still have a pocket as long as it's not too bulky. Because if it's quite, sleek with the fabric, it won't create the bulk, but they sound lovely.
Oh, thank you. They're a nice kind of relaxed shape. I do love a pocket, but I, for the same reason, kind of didn't want to add bulk. And I think because it's the first time we've tried more sort of utility wear, I wanted to keep it a bit more classic. So yes, we've got a cargo.
I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because as the weather warms up, I don't know about anybody else. Listen, I love a skinny. However, when that weather gets a bit warmer, I don't always want a skinny. I like the fact, like you said about your straight leg jeans, but the fact you've got barreled leg jeans coming up and you talk about the cargos. I love that fact that I won't have anything tight, and I think, again, for ladies of a certain age, if they might be perimenopausal or they might be postmenopausal or going through that journey, they don't necessarily want anything tight because they don't want anything that's going to make them hot. So I think having, this wardrobe that is lovely and eclectic with different pieces in, it means people can really love what they wear because they have choice.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think, like you say, it is kind of dressing, I think dressing for your age means something different these days compared to what it used to. Before, it was the whole kind of mutton lamb thing, whereas I think we've moved, hopefully as a society, we've moved away from that. But I think it is more sort of dressing for your shape and what, your shape obviously changes as you get older, for a lot of us, and also dressing for kind of comfort and, what you find comfortable, and your lifestyle changes. So I think you're right. And I think that's kind of why working with a stylist like you is so important, because actually sometimes we get stuck in a bit of a rut. And I think, even, when I'm kind of dealing with clothes all day and working with fashion, I still think sometimes I have to challenge myself that, just because I used to wear tops like that when I was kind of 25, actually, they don't necessarily work for my style and, my shape now. And I think it's good to give ourselves a little bit of a nudge sometimes as well. But that doesn't mean we can't also wear a silky slip dress and sequin heels if we want to.
But again, it goes back to, I always say style doesn't have an age limit. We don't get to a certain point in our lives, whether it's 30, 40, 50, 60 or whatever, and suddenly go, hang on a minute, you can't wear that, because what we might do is we might wear it differently. I've got an 18-year-old daughter, soon to be 19 this week.
Right.
But, you know, I look at her, she looks stunning sometimes. And I love her style. She's a little bit quirky. But I look at it and go, lovely. But I wouldn't wear what she's wearing, but I'll wear them slightly differently. So she'll wear cargos that are big and baggy and relaxed. You're a bit like a parachute trouser.
Yeah.
And I look at those and think she looks stunning. But my cargo trouser will be a little bit more tailored. It will be of a different fabric. So it's about, you know, I think your wardrobe has to have flexibility. So as much as body shape comes into it, yes, there are certain styles and shapes that disguise and illusionize and do all that type of thing. If you want to wear an oversized sweatshirt because you're sat in front of the telly, then absolutely you must. You know, we can't, because we've got to be able to enjoy what we wear. So having, you know, saying to somebody, right, there are certain rules. Yes, you've got potential rules that are there with some shapes and styles. However, if you're in the garden or you're walking the dog or you're doing something different, we always have the opportunity to do something else. So I think you've got that as well. Oh, I think we just lost Hayley a little bit on the Zoom. Hopefully she's going to come back to me, but we have just hung for a minute. I'm hoping, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, everybody, that she is going to come back to me. Otherwise, I think, sadly, this podcast is going to be cut a little bit short, which is a real shame. I'm hoping and praying. So, today, I'm talking to Hayley from the lovely brand 11 Loves. And we've been talking all about her brand, what she's got coming up, etc. So I am just going to complete the podcast because we've lost her. What an absolute shame. But what I'm going to try and do is see if I can get her back and we can just maybe tag on a part 2 to this podcast. But thank you, everybody, for listening. I really hope you have enjoyed this podcast. At the bottom in the show notes are all the details on how you can find Hayley. She's back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. I don't know.
Don't worry. I filled in and then I was just saying to everybody, thank you so much for listening. But listen, now you're back. So everybody, we're going to carry on for a little while. Exactly like we just said about having that flexibility, just gives everybody a wardrobe they absolutely love. So I'm so glad you came back to me. You kind of hung on me and I thought it might come back in a minute. But no. So it's just wonderful to talk to you, to really kind of get the story behind your brand.
Oh, thank you. No, it's lovely to talk to you as well. And it's nice to be able to share because it's so busy as a, running a brand. And I am predominantly kind of running it on my own still. It's good to sort of stop sometimes and reflect on kind of where you've come and the story of the business. So it's really nice to have this conversation. And as I say, I love chatting to customers as well. So I kind of feel like it's sort of nice to share and have that sort of two-way conversation. Yeah,
they say sometimes, don't they? Sometimes you have to look back to see how far you've come, and I think we all need to do that sometimes. Otherwise, life just trundles on and we forget to look back. And it's interesting how when you were originally, before we kind of rudely got interrupted by the gremlins in Zoom.
Dodgy Wi-Fi or something.
You were saying about, how people change, etc., and how sometimes we all need to look at what we might have worn when we were 20, we don't wear now. But I think what's really interesting, it's okay as women to say we all go on a journey and we all change along the way, whether I don't know, listen, we work in a corporate, we leave the corporate, we retire, we set up our own business, or the fact that we marry, we might get divorced, all that along the way, we might have children, we work through everything. But life is a journey. And actually it's okay to say, do you know what I wore then, I might not wear now, but I'm going to wear something that I still love, that makes me feel good. But I love finding other brands that people can't find in the high street, because yes, the high street is an amazing place, but there's also some amazing brands out there that don't sit in the high street. And I think yours is definitely one of those brands. It's that lovely hidden treasure that, you
Oh,
know,
thank you.
more people need to know about. And hopefully now with the podcast, you know, they've heard you chat. We know what's coming because we've been let into a few secrets. But yeah, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you. And I apologize that we lost you, you know,
Oh no,
mid flow.
sorry. I think it might have been my Wi-Fi. I'm so sorry.
It doesn't matter. Listen, everybody thought we were going, and then you came
There you
back. So
go. Pop
listen,
back. You can't get rid of me.
exactly, yeah. Hayley, before we've just finished, where is the best place for everybody to find you? Point them in a direction where you'd love them to come and find more about your brand.
So our website is www.elevenloves.co.uk. And that's where, so we are with a few kind of local boutiques across the UK, but our entire collection can be shopped on our website. And we have information on there about our kind of story. I'm also starting to add some more ways to wear, because that's one of the things that our customers and our followers really like. Is the kind of guidance on kind of how to pair things and what to wear with what, and how to get the most out of the pieces that you buy from us. So over the next couple of months, we will start to build up that content as well, this sort of the more kind of advice-led pieces as well. So you can look there. Also Instagram, which is at elevenloves.co.uk. As I say, I'm there every Friday at midday chatting. And it's the favorite part of my week is chatting to our customers and our followers. And then every day we're on there, and I'll share stories, and I'll share a bit of kind of, you know, sneak peeks as to what's coming up. We work with some lovely influencers who give style ideas. I occasionally jump on a reel,
Yeah.
which is slightly the bane of my life, but yeah, you sort of have to create them. And it's nice to sort of show people how I'd wear things as well. So yeah, Instagram or our website are the best places.
Brilliant. And for everybody, like I was saying when Hayley kind of dropped out, in the show notes is all the details as well. So if you missed writing it down while Hayley was giving the info out, it's all in the show notes. But Hayley, thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. It's been a complete pleasure chatting to you. Thank you to everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for bearing with us while technology got the better of us. But I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful week, and I will speak to you all next week. Thanks, Hayley, so much. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much, Lisa. Bye bye.